Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That's good, that's good.
All right, go ahead. Is there any public input on the agenda lineup this morning? If not, consider a motion to approve the agenda.
Approve Otten.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I guess I can second it.
Got a motion and a second. Will you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Otten,
Yes.
Putnam,
Yes.
Landine.
Yes, motion carries. Next item on our agenda, we have our consent. Any public input on the consent agenda? All right, if not, then we'll go ahead. Can I get a motion to approve, please?
Otten.
Is there a second?
Putnam, seconds it.
All right, I've got a motion and a second. Alicia, will you call the roll?
Commissioner Otten,
Yes.
Putnam,
Yes.
Landine.
Yes. Motion carries. First item for regular business is a first reading for an ordinance of Lincoln County, South Dakota, amending Chapter 154, zoning Section 154.021, definition Section 154.058, conditional uses, A1 agricultural district, Section 154.178, conditional uses, RC Recreation Conservation District, Section 154.254, additional use regulations, and Section 154.379A, notification for the regulation of carbon oxide pipelines, carbon oxide pump stations, carbon oxide mainline valves, carbon oxide capture facilities, and carbon oxide launcher and receiver facilities. Next item on our agenda is board action to approve the emergency management pickup. Good morning, Harold.
Good morning, Commissioners. As I mentioned in my briefing when I was before you, we did budget this year for a new vehicle for my office. We budgeted $60,000, and you should have before you the specs that we dealt with, working with Billion Dodge up in Sioux Falls. The vehicle spec'd out at $61,000, just over, and they're going to sell it to us for $49,926 if the commission approves that. It's a vehicle very similar to the one I have.
And then, do you know what you're gonna do with the one you have, Harold?
I suppose we'll have to surplus it and get rid of it.
Okay. Anybody have questions for Harold? All right, any public input on this agenda item? If not, can I get a motion to approve the purchase?
A motion to approve.
Second.
Got a
Otten.
motion and a second on that. Any further discussion? If not, Alicia, will you call the roll?
Commissioner Otten,
Yes.
Putnam,
Yes.
Landine.
Yes, motion carries.
Thank you.
Next on our agenda is our opportunity for public comment. Anybody wanting to come up and speak on items not on the agenda can do that right now.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Sarah Stever from Lennox. Just would like to say first how much I appreciate all of you. Appreciate all of you so much, in fact, that I've been vacationing with you. And by that I mean taking vacation time in order to come to these meetings when I do get a chance to do that. So as much fun as you are, I would rather be in a cabin with my family. So my request today is just to say, could we have some evening meetings? All of them would be wonderful, but as many as possible. I think it would be good to see more people be here. And I think I'm old, so I've got a lot of vacation time, but a lot of our younger folks don't have as much and don't have the autonomy to take time in order to be part of the process of our government. Those of us who worked really hard on RL 21 did so partially because of property rights, but partially because of local control. And so the fact that we get to be part of this process is pretty important to lots of people in our state, and I think having meetings in the evening would facilitate that. And then I promise I'll go back to vacationing with my family.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
And we are looking at that, Sarah.
Thank you.
All right, any other public comment this morning?
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Beth Quayle from Harrisburg. I want to personally thank Commissioner Aaron's and Commissioner Putnam for speaking at the Prison Task Force meeting last Thursday in Sioux Falls. Thank you for taking the time and effort to prepare and to be heard. Commissioner Aaron's, thank you for reading and explaining the Lincoln County Comprehensive Plan in great detail and for making it clear what the plan says. And Commissioner Putnam, thank you for the history lesson in South Dakota and for proposing an alternative site that makes more sense. Just want to thank you both for defending Lincoln County and for standing up for the citizens of Lincoln County. We truly appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else want to come up and give public comment? All right, if not, we'll move on to commissioner reports. Any commissioners have reports they'd like to make today? All right. Drew, do we need executive session? No executive session? All right. So then we're going to adjourn. You want us to adjourn from this, right? Okay. Can I get a motion to adjourn as the Board of County Commissioners?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second, Otten.
A motion and a second. Alicia, will you call the roll?
Commissioner Aaron's,
Yes.
Otten,
Yes.
Putnam,
Yes.
Landine.
Yes. All right. Can I get a motion to convene as the County Board of Equalization?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second, Otten.
Thank you. All right. And then,
So what we're going to do first is the oath. I'm not sure where Carla and her team are.
Do you have to go through that, though? Do you have to, there was a motion and a second, but,
Oh,
got to
yeah,
vote?
we still have to vote on that.
sorry, jumped ahead of
No,
myself.
you're fine.
I guess I'm lost too.
Alicia, will you call the roll?
Yes.
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 Yes. Okay,
Now
Sherry.
for what?
Who's giving us the oath?
I'll give you the oath.
You're going to give us the oath,
Yep.
okay?
So do you want to stand and raise your right hand?
Yes.
Oh.
All right, so you're going to read after me. I,
Tiffany Landine.
Aye.
Doug Putnam.
a member of the Board of Equalization for Lincoln County
A member of the Board of Equalization for Lincoln County.
County.
in the state of South Dakota for the year of 2025, being first duly sworn, depose and say that I am fairly and impartially
perform the duties as a member of the Board of Equalization for the county and state. That I will endeavor to equalize the assessment of all real property within the county. That I will seek to place upon the books of the tax jurisdiction within the county any property that may have been omitted by error or neglect of the assessor or Board of Equalization. I will faithfully and impartially perform all other acts enjoined on me by law to the end that all assessments within the above county may be complete, just, and equal as between the property holders.
Then if you want to sign them and I'll collect them.
I missigned,
Oh,
but it's all right.
thank you.
That's different this year.
I know, because I always forget. See how efficient I'm becoming, Joel?
Can I get a motion to approve our consent agenda?
Move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second, Otten.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? If not, Alicia, will you call the roll?
Commissioner Aaron's,
Yes.
Otten,
Yes.
Putnam,
Yes.
Landine.
Yes. All right, first thing is our opportunity for public comment on BOE, on Board of Equalization matters. If there's anybody in the audience that wishes to come up and make a comment for items not on the agenda, now would be the time to do that. All All right, if not, then we'll move on to our County Board of Equalization. It's scheduled to start at 9:10. Is somebody here from the Harrisburg Development Corp?
Thank you.
Bruce, do you wanna go, are you okay going early? You're technically not until 9:10. Where's our, there you are. I looked right over you.
That's okay.
All right. Do you want to go first?
You bet.
Okay, Bruce, sorry. We'll let Carla go.
Bryce.
Or Bryce, I'm sorry.
Yep, no,
Would you like me to stand to the podium?
No, you don't need to. No, you're fine. Thank you.
Good morning, Madam Chair and Commission. Carla Gosen, Director of Equalization. I have Ethan Peiske, my deputy, and Austin Preheim to help answer questions as we go through the Boards of Equalization for today and also on the 15th. Our first scheduled application for exemption is under Harrisburg Economic Development. It's parcel number 270.17.01.C0E0. Under South Dakota Authority 10-4-8.1, local industrial development corporations are exempted up to $2.5 million. The application was received by the Equalization Office September of 2024, at which time I recommended to have the property be 0% exempt on the land and the buildings. Following discussion with the property owner, property manager for Harrisburg Economic Development, some new information came forward after their initial application that the properties are no longer rented. So with that, there was rent received in 2024, but as of, I believe, October 2024, they're no longer renting the property. So my recommendation is it's a Board of Equalization decision.
Didn't know if it was my turn to speak or not.
First I'm going to ask if staff has questions for Carla.
So what is your recommendation?
My initial recommendation was to consider them 100% taxable, so 0% exempt, because the first application indicated they had rented it up to the September application timeline, but following discussion with the applicant, it's no longer being rented, nor can it be rented under my, under what the applicant is
So
telling
would you
us.
take a percent, like through like 9 months?
When I look at the law, it says no real property which is leased to an entity not otherwise exempt from property taxes pursuant to 10-4 may receive a property tax exemption. I mean, we can look at the November 1 date. And as of November 1, it was not rented or leased. You know, I still see that they collected rent up until that day, and that's why it got a little fuzzy for me. So my recommendation is it's a board decision. Because I think it's, you know, it meets one part of the statutory, but not the entire part, because it was rented, but it's no longer rented as of November 1.
Madam Chair, can I speak?
Yep.
Why is
Well,
it?
right now it's time for questions of
Okay,
Carla.
okay. I'm sorry.
So does anybody have questions for Carla right now? Okay, if not, then Bryce, go ahead.
Thank you, Carla.
Yes.
Commission, thank you. This is a unique situation that we're in. So I'm here representing the Harrisburg Economic Development Corporation. This particular property was in the past leased, and part of 2024 was leased out and revenue was generated. I'm here to throw myself on the sword of this group because as any board that meets, certain predicaments come up. So when the flood of last year came in June, this is one of the properties that the Harrisburg Economic Development Corporation owns. The purpose of those properties is to redevelop them over time. So the flood came in June. We had multiple properties that had flood issues. This happened to be one that we, mainly I, didn't recognize had an issue. We had a tenant in the property at the time that we were leasing out to. The tenant, he and his wife bought a different property. And so around September 1, we found a new tenant. We leased the property out. Would have been under the same scenario. About a week later, found out from the tenant, hey, there is mold in the basement. So I took from September through mid-October to get estimates how to refab, do something with the property. Between October and then before the deadline to look at this, the board had not made a decision yet. Find out later after the fact that in order for us to refab the property, it's about $50,000. The board made a decision in November, December to gift the property to Southeast Council of Governments for them to refab it and move it somewhere else. So at this point, yeah, there's been no income from the property. There will not be. Property will be moved on May 7th. It's all part of the redevelopment of part of Harrisburg. I realize that we missed the deadline. It's after the fact. I can't find any fault with that. It's just the things that came up and out of everybody's control and timing of trying to get in front of the right groups. We missed the deadline on.
Anybody have any questions for Mr. Healy?
I do.
Go ahead.
This is just a home that you rented out,
Correct.
and the city of Harrisburg owns it.
No, sir, I'm sorry.
Okay.
The Harrisburg Economic Development Corporation owns it.
Okay. And so you're moving the house off the property?
Correct.
When are you going to move the house?
Scheduled with Southeast Council Governments, who we have gifted the house to on May 7th is the tentative deadline, or the tentative move date.
Say it again.
May 7th is the date for the house to be
So
moved.
then you'll dispose of the basement and then it'll be just a plot of land.
Correct.
So basically, that's all it is right now then.
If I may elaborate.
Go ahead.
Started last, or early this year, yeah, we've actually hosted the Lincoln County Sheriff's Department in a few times to do strategic planning and things that they do. But the guts of the house is, starting earlier this year, have been removed. It'll be refabbed and moved somewhere else. So not sure that answered your question, but yeah, it will, May 7th is the scheduled the scheduled time that Southeast Council of Governments is going to move the home, all based on weather and. Now, my hope is that it will end up in Lincoln County as a refabbed property somewhere. I don't have that information at this point. It could be in another location that they have.
So I guess I'm not 100% sure on how they go about this because I'm new. But anyhow, once the house is moved off, then it's just a lot. And then
Correct.
is it a sellable lot?
Sellable redevelopment, the intent of the Harrisburg Economic Development Corporation with the city is to redevelopment of that property for economic development purposes.
But because of the flood, I mean, what I'm getting at is, will it be a sellable lot in the future, or you do something to make it sellable?
It will be, yes.
Bryce, since this is like a really strange situation, would would the Development Corporation be agreeable to leaving the land at the 60,000 and then, zeroing out the structure?
Yes.
Would that be acceptable?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a great idea.
Is there a couple of commissioners that can get on board with
I
that and
agree.
make a motion?
Yeah.
Are you ready for a motion?
I am.
Motion to,
I'll move to that extent, what the
Yeah.
chairman just recommended.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, I got a motion and a second. Any discussion? If not, Alicia, will you call the roll?
Commissioner Aaron's,
Yes.
Otten,
Yes.
Putnam,
Yes.
Landine.
Yes, motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next application for exempt status is owned by Lennox Area Development Corporation. It's parcel 250.31.02.
Do you want to just, it's 8:51, it's scheduled for 9:20, so I just need to make sure the folks that are here on it are okay with moving forward. Is anybody here from the Lennox Area Development Corporation? All right, if not, then we'll be in recess until 9:20 or until they get there. Yeah, it is 9:20. It's 9:20. Oh, that clock's not working.
Oh, well, there you go.
All right, the second one, Lennox Area Development Corporation. Go ahead, Carla.
Parcel number 250.31.02.012, owned by Lennox Area Development Company. An application for property tax exemption status was presented to the Equalization Office in September of 2024. The recommendation, based on the application, it is being leased to a restaurant in Lennox. Therefore, I am recommending that the property be 0% on the land and 0% exempt on the structures.
Commission have any questions for Carla?
What would be the reason that you have the exemptions or want the exemptions to be?
Say that again?
What is the reasons that you want the exemptions to be zero? What was it?
Because according to statute, if it's leased, it would not qualify for exempt status. And that's South Dakota Codified Law 10-4-8.1.
And the city of Lennox is leasing it?
So the city of, so Lennox Area Development Corporation owns the
Oh,
property.
okay.
Which is a separate entity than the city.
And they would be then,
And they lease it to a private individual.
okay, but the development corporation is tax exempt?
If it's not leased,
Okay.
Okay.
And it's not leased now?
it is currently leased to a restaurant, yes.
Oh, okay.
To a private individual. And the rent information is on the application. They receive about $3,900 a month in rent for the property.
Okay, now, I guess maybe I was misunderstanding. You want it to be taxable?
Correct, I know. The wording on the application is 0% exempt, which means 100% taxable.
Oh, see, I went the
Yeah.
other direction. There we
Yes.
go.
Yes.
Yeah.
Any other questions for Carla? All right, if not, is the appellant here? All right, can I get a motion, please?
Otten, I make a motion to accept the assessor recommendation.
I second it, Putnam.
I've got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, will you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Aaron's,
Yes.
Otten,
Yes.
Putnam,
Yes.
Landine.
Yes, motion carries. Is anybody from First Baptist Church here? All right, we will,
I do have some RSVPs, let me see if they're. First Baptist Church did RSVP, they should be here.
oh, okay. Sir, you're technically not scheduled till 9:30, but are you ready if we start a few minutes early?
Well, there is another person coming, but
We can wait.
I can give you the information.
There we go.
Are you okay with us starting?
Sure.
All right, Carla, go ahead.
Our next tax exempt application is owned by First Baptist Church of Sioux Falls. It's parcel number 282.19.00.001. They are applying for tax exempt status under South Dakota Codified Law 104-9, which is a religious exemption. They are requesting 100% exemption. The assessor recommendation is to recommend that it's 0% exempt on the land and 0% exempt for the structures. It is just a bare piece of land owned by the church.
All right, anybody have questions for Carla? All right, if not, sir, would you want to come up and state your name and address and go ahead with your presentation?
One second. Would you like to make a presentation?
Sure. Good morning.
Good morning.
Sorry, I am just arriving. I had to bring my son to school this morning.
You're just fine. We're early, so.
Okay,
if-
perfect. Let me take my coat off. a minute.
You go right ahead. When you're ready, you can start off, if you would, by stating your name and address. And
Sure.
You bet.
My name is Michelle Vant Hall. My address is 224 North Van Epps Avenue, Sioux Falls, South Dakota. And I am here on behalf of First Baptist Church. Their address is 1401 South Colville Avenue in Sioux Falls. We applied for nonprofit status for our property on 95th and Louise. We are in the process of raising funds to build a new church building out there, as well as a daycare center. We do both those things at our current location, and, thank you. And we'll be, once we have the funds, we'll be breaking ground. We're not quite sure when that's gonna be yet, but we are hoping that it will be soon.
Does anybody have any questions for the appellant? All right, if not, is there a motion?
Now, when you said there's any questions, that meant us too?
That meant if you have questions for the
Okay.
appellant.
Well, I have a
yes.
question.
Yes,
Go
sir.
ahead.
Sorry,
Nope, go ahead.
I'm getting smarter. The land that was purchased is paid for by the church and, but you have no, I guess I don't know the statutes of it, but, you don't know when you're really gonna start on it?
Correct. We are in the process of raising funds right now. I brought along our plans. We have plans to build, and this break ground date will depend on the sale of our current building, which we aren't sure when that will happen.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anybody else have any questions? If not, is there a motion? Are you using the property for anything at all right now?
Not right now. There's a farmer that is harvesting the cover, but we're not charging him to rent, and he's not paying us for it.
It's just grassland?
It's just grass. Yep. Right, Terry?
Right?
Okay.
Carly, do you have any input?
I was actually going to ask that very question, if it was being leased or rented.
No,
But there is farming activity on there?
He's just,
For weed control, he's mowing it.
Making it look nicer then.
yeah,
So I keep it without having to go out there and do it
Correct.
yourself. Then
Yes.
it's good. I've done that before.
yeah.
Part of my, when I look at exempt applications, you know, it's got to be owned and used exclusively for religious purposes, according to 1049. And that was the reason for my recommendation. It's not currently being used for exempt purposes.
Are you saying that maybe it should be taxed up until they break ground?
Just on the land.
On
There's
the
no
land,
building
yeah.
currently.
Yeah.
Is there a motion?
Knowing that explanation, I'm going to offer a motion to accept the assessor recommendation. Just on the land only.
I'll second for discussion.
All right, I've got a motion and a second. Discussion?
Last 6 years I've been on here, I've taken a little bit of a different approach when it comes to religious organizations, and I guess the way I read the statute is that property is being used for the church even if you're in some kind of development or pre-development stage. I know I'm probably in the minority, but if you were renting that out, I'd have some heartburn and probably have some issues, but if it's just the farmer doing weed control, it's a different issue. Thank you.
All right, I've got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All right, if not, will you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Aaron's,
No.
Otten,
Yes.
Putnam,
Yes.
Landine.
Yes. Motion carries. All right, sorry.
That's okay. Thank you. I appreciate your time.
Thank you. All right, next we have University of Northwestern. Is anybody here from University of Northwestern? All right, thank you. Are you okay if we start early? Sure. All right, go ahead, Carla.
Our next exempt application is owned by University of Northwestern. It's parcel numbers 280.50.17.005. They are requesting exemption under South Dakota Codified Law 10-4-9, which is a religious exemption. Again, this is a bare lot located in Sioux Falls. The assessor recommendation is to recommend that the land be 0% exempt or 100% taxable. There are no structures on this property. It do show a map of where the property is located. That's what the assessor recommendation is, 0% exempt.
Anybody have questions for Carla? All right, and then, sir, you appellant, you want to come on up? You can go ahead and start with your name and address, and then just give us your testimony, please.
My name is Scott Jones. I work for University of Northwestern, KNWC radio station here in Sioux Falls, and my office is in 3003 Snelling Avenue North, St. Paul, Minnesota.
All right, is there anything you want us to know about the property?
It's been exempt since 1984. Years ago, we split the land and sold off that chunk off to the left of the picture there that you see. We did own at a point of 15 or so acres. We sold off that section to be developed. We have a radio tower in the back, and our studios is the building there in the middle. We've maintained that property to keep the same thing, keep the grass lines down. It's not being farmed, it's not being anything other than just being maintained. We were advised when we split the property is to split that up for future sale, which we didn't intend on selling. But we wanted to keep that mostly free for advertising for our radio station, so no buildings would be in front of it as cars drove by. So that was the intent. Had we At this, again, this is something that's just cropped up when we've had this non-exempt for all these years, so just, we're just here to talk and find out what's going on.
All right. Anything else you want us to know?
I don't think so.
All right. Anything you want to add to that, Carla? If they've been exempt all these years, then why wouldn't they be exempt this year?
Right, okay, so I do have one question. You said there is a tower on this parcel?
Correct, in the back side there, just on the north side of that, there's that small section in the purple there, in the upper right-hand corner.
Two different properties, right?
Yeah, so this parcel right here.
Yes, no, I know.
That's highlighted in
Yep,
blue.
yep, I know.
Where's the tower?
Right here.
Okay, so the tower is located to the parcel to the north.
Correct.
This is the parcel you're requesting?
Yep, I know.
Okay.
But again, we've owned and maintained that so that we could keep clear line of sight to our building, which is advertising for us.
Of splitting it was the separate issue.
We split that years ago when we put that road in to build our building. And again, we're advised to split that front section up for future potential sale, which again, we have no intention on selling at this point in time.
Madam Chair, to answer your second question is why was it exempted last year? It's because the board recommended. The assessor recommended to be taxable and the board decided to exempt it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions for staff?
I
or-
have some.
Go ahead.
I guess I'm not familiar with the University of Northwest. Is that a religious
Yes.
college?
Yes, we are Christian college.
And they have their own radio station?
We own and operate radio stations across the entire Midwest and some of the East Coast, but they are all Christian nonprofits under the same 501c3.
Is that land currently, how would I say it? It's all one actual parcel? Or is it,
It's now been split into two parcels, so yes, the purple parcel on the top there is again what we were advised to split it into years ago. I'm trying to remember when we did build that building out. I think the construction was around 2017.
yeah, I guess if it was one parcel, I could understand it, but being split off there, then it's just a piece of land then.
It is. I mean, we've treated it as, I mean, we've obviously maintained it and kept it to make it look nice, so we treat it as one parcel, but
Well, that's kind of what a person would normally do. I guess that would be my only concern is the fact that it's not, in the same, just complete one piece.
Sir,
yes,
do you guys sell radio advertising?
we do underwriting. We don't, by the FCC guidelines, we're not allowed to sell advertising.
Okay, that was my question, is if you took income, I was wondering if it was declared as, on your 501c3 as earned income or not, so.
It all falls under our 501c3.
Thank
That's
you.
legal.
Thank you.
We don't pay any IRS taxes on that.
All right, if there's no further discussion, can I get a motion?
Well, again, I'm going to go back and make a motion to accept the assessor recommendation just to make everything fair and equal across the board. And I understand, and I love KNWC, we support KNWC, but again, I guess I just don't see not putting a value on it and assess it. Thank you. Sorry.
I'll second for discussion, and I appreciate Commissioner Otten's comments. My comments are the same as what it was for the last. I just look at all religious parcels the same, and you answered my question about whether or not the money you receive would have been exempt or not, so thank you.
All right, I've got a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All right, if not, Alicia, will you call the roll?
Commissioner Aaron's?
No.
Otten?
Yes.
Putnam?
No,
Landine?
Yes. Motion fails. Is there a substitute motion? Perhaps we need to wait for Commissioner Schmidt. So if you want to hang out,
Okay.
when Commissioner Schmidt gets here, we'll redo our vote. After he gets sworn in, of course.
While standing up.
There you go.
Poor guy.
Is Hanson Family Foundation present? Did you have any RSVP from them?
No, there was no RSVP.
All right, well then we're gonna hang tight until 9:50. We'll be in recess until 9:50. Appeal we have is the Hanson Family Foundation. Carla, you go ahead.
Yes, our next appeal is parcel number 100.4, it's not an appeal, it's application for tax exempt
Oh,
status.
I'm sorry.
Our parcel number is 100.49.19.1010, owned by Hanson Family Foundation for the Well-Being of God.
There's 28304010006, are we?
Did I skip one?
Yeah, there's two family, or there's two Hanson.
Oh, yes.
006 is the first one, 1010 is the second one.
Sorry about that. Yep, our first application is parcel number 283.04.01.006. It's owned by Hanson Family Foundation for the Well-Being of God. They are requesting exemption based on charitable exemption. Right now, it is not being used as a veterinary clinic, although they're hoping someday to have that in place. But as of November 1, 2024, they are just a bare piece of land, and I am recommending that we are having the land at 0% exempt or 100% taxable. There are no structures on it. Property is located in yellow here, in the city limits of Sioux Falls.
Move to approve assessor's recommendation.
Second, Otten.
All right, we got a motion and a second. Nobody's here from the Hanson Family Foundation? All right, if not, Alicia, will you call the roll?
Commissioner Aaron's,
Yes.
Otten,
Yes.
Putnam,
Yes.
Landine.
Yes, motion carries.
Thank you. Our next application is parcel number 100.49.19.1010. It's owned by Hanson Family Foundation for the Well-Being of God. They are applying for tax exempt status under 10.4-9.1, which is charitable. They are requesting 100% tax exempt status. The use right now is just a bare lot. There is no activity to date, that's stated on their application. Currently is just a bare piece of agricultural land. At which point the assessor made the recommendation to declare the property 0% exempt or 100% taxable for the 25 assessment year.
All right, anybody have any questions for Carla?
Move to approve assessor recommendation.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Otten, second.
Thank you. Alicia, will you call the roll?
Commissioner Aaron's,
Yes.
Otten,
Yes.
Putnam,
Yes.
Landine.
Yes, motion carries. Then the next one that was scheduled for 10:10, that application was withdrawn, Carla?
Correct.
Our next one's scheduled for 10:20. Do you know if they were gonna?
Yes, they were going to appear.
All right, then we will be in recess until either Commissioner Schmidt gets here and we can go back up and take up University of Northwestern, or until 10:20. So please stay close. joined us. And
Okay.
and he is signing his oath in front of our auditor right now.
4, 8.
I think that's gotta go that way.
And then, just in way of our Board of Equalization hearings, we had a 2-2 vote on item number 4 on that list. So on this one, for University of Northwestern.
Yeah.
So we're gonna circle back on that one.
Okay.
All right, and if you have questions, just ask, because it's already been presented. Carla, since Commissioner Schmidt wasn't here, we circle back and can you bring him up to speed on, item 4 on our list for the University of Northwestern property?
So parcel number 280.50.17.005, owned by University of Northwestern, is applying for tax exempt status under South Dakota Codified Law 10-4-9. Assessor reviewed the application and it was determined that the property is, although owned by a tax exempt entity, is not being used exclusively for the purpose of their organization. Therefore, I recommended that we declare that the property is 0% exempt or 100% taxable.
All right, do you have any questions for Carla?
What, you know what it's being used for right now?
It is up on the board right here. It's just a bare piece of property. It's just a bare lot in the city limits of Sioux Falls. So currently used as
It's just.
just a bare lot.
Okay, all right.
All right, and then, the applicant who is here, do you want to come up and, fill Commissioner Schmidt in?
Certainly. As I stated earlier, we've kept this property as clear line of sight. We are a radio broadcast. And at the time, we split the land because we did own all the property off to the left there as well. And we sold that, and we were advised at that time to split it this way. For whatever reason, I'm not sure at the time. I was not involved in that process, but we've opted not to sell to keep, obviously, clear line of sight to our building because we believe roadside signage is pretty important for our ministry. And so that's why it's still blank.
Do you have plans on when you may utilize this for its intended purpose?
We don't have any plans at this point in time. So we've not thought that far ahead. Again, for us, it's just to not have buildings in front of our building.
Do you have other signage on that bare lot?
Not in the frontage, we don't know.
Okay,
All right.
thank you. So with that, can I get a motion, please?
I'm going to make a motion to accept the assessor recommendation,
All right, is there a
land
second?
only.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, I've got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All right, if not, Alicia, will you call the roll?
Commissioner Aaron's?
No.
Otten?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
Putnam?
No.
Landine?
Yes, motion carries. I think if there might be a legislative fix for you folks that have these bare lots.
Well, I mean, I guess my question is if this was back to one parcel, we wouldn't be having this discussion, correct?
You're correct.
All right, thank you.
All right, then we are on number 8, which was set for 10:20. Are the Duperts here? Yes. All right, Carla, are you okay if we start a few minutes early? All right, Carla, will you go ahead?
Parcel number 241.11.03.001, owned by Patsy, Fred, Jared, Ashley Dupert. The appeal is for owner-occupied status. The assessor is recommending no change to the classification of owner-occupied status because the application came in after the statutory deadline of March 15th, 2025. The application was received in our office March 26, 2025. Take you through a brief overview of the property. Here is the application that was submitted to our office by Patsy Dupert on March 26, 2025. At which time it was denied because the application did not meet the statutory deadline of March 15, 2025. On my next page, 4 of 6, you can see that the office has sent many applications to the applicant. We first started the application process in 2024. We sent 2 applications to them, at which time in 2024, they did not meet the qualification because the house was still under construction. So in 2025, again, staff reached out, sent 2 mailings to the Duperts in October of '24, and then again in January of '24. Staff was really diligent this year. There was about 130 properties that we sent applications to that we had not received any notification back. So staff, Courtney Smith and Jocelyn Zimmel, first time ever, we started calling folks. And they called folks from starting in March 5th through the 7th. They made about 130 phone calls. The point of contact was based on their certificate of real estate value. If there was a phone number, we called them just to give them a heads up that the deadline is approaching. The assessment notice also indicated that, the property was not owner occupied when we sent the assessment notice out. And we also are required by law to let folks know that this is an option, a property tax relief program in which they need to apply for. That's on the assessment form. South Dakota Codified Law 10-13-40 does, black and white, says the owner shall submit the certificate by the 15th of March. Again, we received the application on the 26th of March. That is the reason for the recommendation of no change to the classification and to deny the owner-occupied classification.
Anybody have questions for staff? All right, if not, I see you're here. You want to come on up? You can just state your name and address and then go ahead and tell us what you want us to know.
Okay. My name is Patsy Dupert. My address is 2701 North Swan Circle in T, and the address is 57064. That's the zip code. So, this is a new process for us. We have never owned property in South Dakota before this property. Where we come from, the state of Pennsylvania, they don't have anything like this, so we weren't familiar with it. When I got the papers in the mail, I looked at them, I had questions on them, and I laid them aside to get those questions answered. And we also got our taxes, which were due on April the 15th. So I laid these papers together to the side. For some reason in my mind, the date for both of them was April the 15th instead of this one being March the 15th. I found the paper on March the 25th and noticed that it was due on the 15th. And so I called immediately, number one, to ask my questions that I had to fill out the form, and then what do I do because I missed the deadline? And she was very plain that the deadline was not reached, and so that the request would be denied. She said, you can bring it down here, we'll deny it, you can file for an appeal, which I did the next day, because it was in the afternoon when I called on the 25th. She did indicate to me that they had made courtesy calls, and I asked her who they called, because I never received a call, and the other name on that file was my daughter-in-law's number, and we both checked back through our phones. Neither of us received a call. I'm not stating that I wasn't late, but if I would have received that call, we would have driven them down here and taken care of them on time. That's pretty much what I have to say, except for, I don't know if you have the letter that I've written. We're both senior citizens and we're on fixed income, and this will make a drastic difference whether we're approved or denied of that, and that's why we're here today.
Anybody have any questions for the Duperts? Unfortunately, the legislature has told us that that is the date that they are due. Those aren't our rules, they're the legislature's rules. So by statute, we really don't have a lot of wiggle room on that, unfortunately, and we do get a few of these every year where people miss the deadline. But from my position, our hands are tied on it based on the statutes. So, anyway, I will be not supporting changing the status of the property, but is there a motion that?
I just want to make, Madam Chair, Patsy, or Fred, this isn't a one-time deal. I mean, if you didn't get it this year, you can appreciate it next year. Understand what has been said, rules are rules, and we have to live by them. And sometimes what you'd like to do is not what you can do. So I'll move that we deny the application for owner-occupied.
All right, is there a second?
Otten, second.
I've got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All right, if not, we call the roll, please.
Commissioner Aaron's,
No.
Otten,
Yes.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Putnam,
Yes.
Landine.
Yes. So, sorry that your request was denied, but make sure that you do get it changed for next
I
year.
most definitely will send it in on time next year. Thank you.
Thank
Do it
you.
right now.
Yep.
Yeah.
We can do it right now?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, then you'll have it, yeah.
Go upstairs.
You go upstairs and fill the papers out, and it's done.
Just go upstairs. Go upstairs to the equalization office and they'll help you get that done.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next one is slated for 10:35, so we're a little bit behind, but we're moving along. Is Monica Cheshire here? All right, Carla, you want to go ahead?
We did keep most of this file confidential because of disabilities, any regulations. Just,
Madam Chair, hold on, can I interrupt you? Madam
yes,
Chair,
please.
the hearing is set for 10:30 and I have 10:15 on my phone.
You're right, it is.
think
I
we're-
looked at that wrong.
Maybe the computer clock is wrong or something.
Did
Yeah,
you-
I think we got a few minutes here yet.
I would agree. We do have a few minutes. I probably need new glasses. So did you get an RSVP from them at all?
She did contact our office and she would not be present.
She would not be.
Nor would an agent or representative on her behalf.
All right, well, nonetheless, we will wait till 10:30 in case she changes her mind. Item 9 on our agenda.
Yes, this is an application for paraplegic exemption. Just to go as an overview, it's all in your packet, labeled confidential. The applicant purchased the property in July of '23. At that time, the applicant did not qualify for the paraplegic veterans exemption because you need to own it for a full calendar year in which the taxes are levied. Therefore, the applicant did qualify for the $100,000 veterans exemption, which was applied for the '24 assessment year, taxes payable in '25. When the applicant received their tax notice in January of '25, it was noted that there was some confusion that they thought they had applied for the paraplegic exemption. When staff talked to applicant, explained to them that they didn't qualify for the veterans exemption or the paraplegic exemption, but did qualify for the veterans exemption. That is when the applicant submitted the application for the paraplegic exemption. And that was received in our office February 14th, 2025. So the hearing today is based on, they're eligible for the exemption, they qualify for the exemption, but the exemption was late. When we bring other exemptions to the board, there are some discretions in statute that states if the applicant would have otherwise qualified but missed the deadline, then the commission can, look at it. There is no such language in statute on the paraplegic exemption. So the consideration for the board is whether you have the authority to grant the exemption, even though there is a late application. Assessor has, I look at the law and look at deadlines, and my recommendation is based on the statute and the authority, at which there's no discretion to give an exemption when you miss the deadline. So applicant wants is the paraplegic exemption,
okay.
which is you don't pay taxes at all on the home and the land.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Is there a motion?
Move to approve the applicant's petition.
Got a motion to approve the applicant's petition. Is there a second?
Otten, second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, we call the roll, please.
Commissioner Aaron's,
Yes.
Otten,
Yes.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Putnam,
Yes.
Landine.
Yes, motion carries. Next, we have item 10 on our agenda is for Schwartzley Construction. Were they going to be present today, Carla?
No RSVP.
None at all?
No.
Then we better wait. So we will be in recess until 10:40. 40, the next appellant that we have is Schwartzley Construction. Is there anyone here from Schwartzley Construction? All right, Carla, go ahead.
Our next appeal is parcel number 100.49.27.1010, or owned by Schwartzel Construction LLC. It is located in Springdale Township. It consists of 15.79 acres. It is currently the undeveloped portion of the development. Currently, our assessed value is based on a table that we developed in the Equalization office. The first 2 acres is $85,000 per acre. Anything over 2 acres up to 10 is $20,000 per acre, and then anything over 10 acres is $5,000 per acre. On the second page, you can see where staff identified some properties that have sold, similar size to the property that's being appealed. And the last 2 comparables on the PowerPoint, comparable 4 and comparable 5, shows assessment equity. So other developments that are not developed into plats, and how we have them assessed, and it's currently being assessed equally to to the same valuation model as the subject property. Comparable number 4 is in a different section of the Springdale Township, so it's slightly different, the first 2 acres, other than the section 1 of Springdale Township, but very uniform type of valuation schedule. When we break it down and we look at the price per acre, our subject property is being valued at $22,733 per acre. When we look at our cost models of the comparables that we used, an average range would be $59,541 for the comparables that we supplied to you. The market is indicating a market price range between $14,500 per acre all the way up to $128,728 per acre. So quite the range, a large range. So I guess the biggest takeaway from this particular appeal is, it's being assessed equally to like parcels that are underdeveloped or not developed up to this point. It's a development that's not been platted. I did want to just show you what sales of those lots are being sold for in this development. So the lots are being sold between $135,900 all the way up to $190,900. We could value parcels in a unit fashion, but it's hard sometimes to determine how many units are remaining. I just estimated that there could be 7 lots yet to be sold in this development, which would, if we were doing that valuation method, it could be in the upwards of $945,000 could be the assessed value. But that's not the model we're using. We're doing a per acre type model, and not a unit cost. But just wanted to show you that it's not over market value. The market value is, could be anywhere between 350 all the way up to 900, depending on how many lots are yet to be sold, which is undetermined at this point. We do show on page 5 of 6 where the subject property is located, and that's in the eastern central part of the map in pink, and then where our comparables lie. And then we also show like a development map that we were able to bring forward for this appeal, just on the Long Meadow addition at Spring Creek. With that, the assessor is recommending no change to the 2025 assessment, leaving it at $358,950. On the PT 17, which the applicant submitted for board consideration, they are requesting a value of $285,000.
Carla, you don't happen to have what that equates to per acre, do you, at their request?
Say that again?
At their rate, what is that cost per acre? Like you have it at 22,000, and they're asking for $100,000 less, and I don't have I could have done that, but.
$18,049 per acre.
Oh.
That's their request.
And lots are selling for over 100,000.
130 to 190, yes.
All right, thank
Are
you.
the lots that are being sold, are they acre lots?
Yes, because they are not in a municipality or city limits, the minimum lot size is gonna be an acre outside of any city limits in this
So are the
county.
lots more than an acre then?
I think they vary a little bit, but generally about that much.
Generally about it.
But we're not talking about those lots today, we're talking about the ones that have not yet been platted.
Yep.
So
I'm
then
talking about
that would
acres.
be, but you're evaluating the land for a lot more money because, even though they haven't been sold, is what you're saying.
If we developed a model based on how many units could be sold, yes, that would be the case. Our model valuation is set by not just those developments, but also any other acreage throughout Lincoln County. So,
Okay.
yeah, we haven't designated, we're gonna do this method for this property and this method for that property. I mean, we try to keep it in an equal fashion because we don't always know how many units are to be sold.
Any other questions for Carla?
Move to approve assessor's recommendation.
Got a motion, is there a second?
Second, Otten.
Motion and a second, any further discussion? If not, Alicia, will you call the roll?
Commissioner Aaron's,
Yes.
Otten,
Yes.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Putnam,
Yes.
Landine.
Yes, motion carries. Are the DeShepers present or representative? All right, are you okay if we get started a little early? All right, go ahead, Carla.
Our next appeal is parcel number 280.39.11.003. It's owned by Kevin and Wendy DeShepper, located at 1509 West La Quinta in Sioux Falls. It's a single-family home of about 2,420 square feet. Does have lower level finish in the basement of 2,180 square feet. Our current assessment went out at $732,088. This appeal was heard at local board. Local board made no change to the assessor's valuation. On page 2, you can see where the subject property, in comparison to some comparables that we are providing for board's decision today, all are located in the same neighborhood as the appealed property. All very similar, although the subject property is larger for the most part of all the comparables. Some back pictures, just to show that, they are somewhat similar. Not all of them are walkout basements, some are garden level, and some are just a standard basement. The assessor value price per square foot is $303 per square foot. Our cost using those comparables is between $271 and $304 per square foot. The market is indicating a market range between $290 and $361 per square foot. The assessors currently are recommending no change. The subject is well within the market and the cost valuation supplied to you. The 2024 appeal is good for 1 year, and this was an appeal for 24. Board lowered the value. They're bringing it back to be heard that, it was appealed last year and board did recommend to lower it. I just want to go through a brief inspection history. In 2017, we asked to get an interior inspection of the home, at which point they were not allowing entry. Again, in 2018, we were refused entry verbally. I did reach out to the appellant, left a message on their voicemail to see if, again, we could get an inspection, just to make sure all of our information was accurate and complete, and I did not receive a phone call back from the appellant. Right here, you can see the map of where the subject property is located. The comparables are all within the same development as the appealed property. You can see there's many sales of properties that are within that development. One of the arguments that petitioner is making, that some of the sales that are located in his development are in a price range between $400,000 and $500,000. If we could zoom in, please. Right here is where the subject property is located. In this area, which are twin homes, those are the $400,000 and $500,000 homes that he's indicated. Any other home that are single family sell between $600,000 and $800,000 consistently. The only properties that are selling between $400,000 and $500,000 are the twin homes. With that, I'll stand by for any questions.
The board have any questions for Carla?
Nope, not at this time.
All right, the applicant's here. Do you want to come on up? Just state your
Kevin.
name, just state your name and address, and then go ahead with your testimony.
Kevin DeShepper, 1509 West LaQuinta Street, Sioux Falls, South Dakota. In terms of me not addressing her phone call, I was not available to address her phone call. Secondly, in 17 and 18, I made clear statements at the time that there was no need to do an inspection. House hasn't changed. We've not modified it, we haven't updated it, we haven't done anything to it till the tornado hit it in 2019. 2019, it got a brand new roof, got 18 brand new windows, and it got new carpet in the basement. Total cost of about $64,000, pretty close. My comparables today, I looked at it 3 different ways. Bear with me here and I'll try to explain them all to you. I contacted Zillow and asked them to run an analytical comparison for zip code 57108, which is where I reside. I'm about dead center to it. There were 228 homes sold since April of '24, when I contested last year and you guys lowered the property value. Out of them 228 homes, typical value was $412,575. Median value was $423,536. The 1-year forecasted value increase from April of '24 till today is 0.9%. So if you look at my valuation of $579,030 that you lowered it to last April, it's a little over $5,200 increase. Your assessment paper came out 26.43% higher in 1 year. That's the first way I looked at it. The second way we looked at it is I talked to multiple real estate firms. My wife was a real estate broker in the city of Sioux Falls for almost 30 years. She does not longer practice, but we have many constituents that are still friends of ours. We drew comparables here, of which I have 10 printouts, that are presently on the market in 57108 area code. Out of those 10 comparables, and I can certainly pass this around for all of you to look at, 4 of them are between square footages of 2492 and 2647. 6 of them are between square footages of 2754 and 2960. All 10 larger than my house. Mine's at 2420 or 2470 roughly. 8 of them have 5 bedrooms, I have 4. 1 of them has 6 bedrooms, and 1 of them is a 4-bedroom. Lot sizes are all pretty much the same or slightly larger than my lot. If you take the 10 comparables, and you can look at them all, they range from $430,000 to $540,000. If you take an average, it's a little short of $514,000. When I talk to the brokers that we are still in contact with or are friends with or know very well, there's 3 different things that came up. In the last year, houses in the range of 250 to 500 in the general Sioux Falls area have decreased in value of 3% due to market conditions, due to interest rates, due to a variety of things. In the 500 to 1 million range, they've decreased as much as 5%. In the 1 million and over range, they've decreased as much as 7%. So in my previous notes and my previous appeal, when the city of Sioux Falls denied it, we were not available to be there. We were out of state due to several different reasons of 1, a partial vacation, and 2, a health problem with a relative. If you take the 579,030 that you guys reduced it to last year and drop it 5% based upon the real estate brokers' ideas, it's a $28,952 reduction, which would take me down to $550,078. If you take the 513 or 514 average from Zillow, that's a $36,190 higher evaluation than Zillow. Now, everything is not exact, but it's very close, and you can pass these comparables around if you want to look at them. None of them are townhouses, none of them are condos, and none of them are twin homes. They're all residential properties with those square footages that I indicated before. So how you want to look at it is your choice, I guess, but nobody's house has gone up 26.43% in a year. Everybody's has gone down. So if you want to look at current market conditions and current listings within the last 3 weeks to 4 weeks to 5 weeks, these properties are all presently in the market in that area code. And I can pass these around if you guys would all like to look at them. It's totally up to you.
I guess I trust you. If you want to go to him, that's fine.
You can give me one.
There's 10 of them there, arranged them in price and square footage from the smallest to the largest.
Those would be made part of the record, so, I mean, if you want those part of the record, then you can certainly submit them.
I want them part of the record.
Thank you. All right, does anybody have any questions for our applicant?
Well, Kevin, I'm not gonna dispute, but I live in a neighborhood 108, and I live in a house that isn't 2,400 square feet. It's probably about 1,600 square feet. And my value is up there. I won't have to necessarily discourage. But on the block or that I live, houses certainly haven't sold any cheaper. In fact, the prices that they're getting on some of these homes have gone up dramatically, so.
In some areas, I'll
And
agree
the
with
other
that.
thing that when you do your comparison, you know, they do a blanket one, but are they confining to your particular area?
Yes, I got
That
that
is-
sheet
that-
here
do
too.
they
It's
have
strictly
the
area
definite
code
boundaries?
57108.
Can you guys not talk over each other, please?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, but 108 covers a huge area.
Yeah, and I'm in the middle of it. There's
But I'm just talking
228
about
homes
your
in there.
neighborhood specifically, so.
Yeah, I didn't mean to talk over to you, sir, Jim.
Yep, no, that's okay.
There's 228 homes that sold in 57108 that Zillow came up with a median value of 423,536 with a 0.9% price increase from April of 24 till April of 25.
Any other questions from the board for the applicant? If not, is there a motion?
Madam Chair, can I just, Kevin?
Yes.
Sir? So, on your objection to real estate form, you signed it, and this is not a gotcha question. I'm
No, I understand.
really trying to figure this out. You said that you thought your land was worth 70,000 and your building is worth 509,030.
Yeah, I put that to the valuation number that you guys agreed to last April.
Okay, so, and then you came in here today and said you think your house is now worth 550,078. So I'm just trying to reconcile the two differences.
Yeah, and that's after further in-depth research before or after I filled that form out. That form was filled out versus the $732,000, which is a 27%, almost a 27% increase. Nobody's house has gone up 27% in 1 year. Nobody's. So I don't know how that model is based off of, what the calculation is. That's your guys' thing in doing, but I'm just trying to look at actual market value, actual market conditions, and actual independent opinions from other real estate companies. Now, when I also put in there something about, there might be some confusion about my house being on La Quinta, being West La Quinta versus East La Quinta. East La Quinta is a whole different ballgame. All the houses on East La Quinta are around Prairie Green Golf Course. They're all bigger. They are all on larger lots. They're sitting on a golf course lot. I don't know if that had any effect to it or not. But the houses that I gave you for the record are in that area code. And they're all currently listed. And they're all currently listed much below the 579 or the 550 number that we're talking about here today. And there's 10 of them. And they're comparable, and they're all anywhere from 100 to 500 square feet, almost 500 square feet more than mine, with 1 or 2 more bedrooms per house, or even an additional bathroom in some cases. Lot sizes are comparable or slightly larger. So I'm just trying to get equal. I'm not saying I don't owe tax. It's not what I'm saying here. I'm looking at just a fair number. And last year, when you guys heard it, I thought you were very nice about everything that was discussed, and the number that you came down to, we kind of agreed to based on last year's conditions. I didn't argue that number. I'm arguing 579 to 732, and then when I did the research, this is what I come up with from other sources. So I'm just presenting both sides of the coin, trying to be fair and equitable. I was a little shocked, to be honest with you, when I talked to 6 different brokerages about devaluations. The market conditions are not as good as a lot of people think they were a year ago. They're in sad condition. A lot of homes are sitting on the market a long time. I have a house that's 2 blocks from me that was listed for $985,000 last year. They just listed it 2 weeks ago for $680, and it sold for $630. And it's a lot bigger than my house. And it's a block and a half from me. So there's another example of devaluation in the market versus acceleration in the market. So that's pretty much, unless there's other questions, it's pretty much how I got where I got. I guess I would like you guys to consider what you think is right.
Do any board members have any other questions for the
Yeah,
applicant?
I've got one, I guess, amongst us is, I'm agreeable to leave it the way it was, so whatever you guys decide.
Does anybody have any other questions for the applicant? If not, I consider a motion.
I'm going to throw this out there as an icebreaker. Madam Chair, make a motion to value the land at $70,000 and value the building at $509,030. My rationale behind that is that's what Mr. DeShepper submitted in his form to us under oath. I don't doubt nor want to denigrate any of the research that he's done or devaluation in the marketplace. I mean, I think I'd probably agree with those things. I don't have enough information right now this morning to do that, but he did file this form here, and I do take him at his word on that. So that's why I'm making my motion.
All right, is there a second?
I second it.
Got a motion and a second for discussion. Any further discussion?
Can I make a substitute motion?
How about if we vote on this one and then we can go and we'll keep going until we get somewhere.
Okay.
You better vote on the motion then.
Yeah.
Right,
Alicia, will you call the roll?
Commissioner Aaron's,
Yes.
Otten,
No.
Schmidt,
No.
Putnam,
Yes.
Landine.
No. Now, would you like to make
Take
a
a
motion?
Yes,
Substitute
I would like to make a motion to accept the assessor recommendation.
I've got a motion to accept the
I'll second
assessors.
that.
I've got a second. Any discussion? If not, Alicia, will you call the roll?
Commissioner Aaron's,
No.
Otten,
Yes.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Putnam,
No.
Landine.
No. So we are at an impasse right now. So I'm going to make a suggestion that we leave the land at 108,851 and that we drop the structure value down to $500,066, $566,133. And I can't make that motion, but that's the motion I would request.
I'll adopt that, the chair's motion as my own.
So that would be your motion, Commissioner
Yes,
Aaron's?
ma'am.
Okay. Is there a second?
I second.
I've got a second. Any further discussion?
Can
If-
I ask a question?
Not at this point. Sorry.
How much of a reduction is that?
It's not.
It's a reduction from the assessor's
Yeah,
recommended.
How much?
Right.
How much?
It's 674,983. The total number, which is a reduction from the assessors.
Total number from 674 to 566.33.
Thanks, Sherry.
Jim, what did you just
So
say?
I've got a motion and a second. Any further discussion amongst the board?
I'm lost.
I am too, after what Jim just stated. There's a lot more than six what to 556?
The land would be at 108,851. That's the motion. And the structure value would be reduced to 566,133 is the motion.
So it's an increase of how much?
It's a decrease from the assessor's original.
Oh, but it's an increase of from last year to this year.
Alicia?
Yes,
Do you understand the motion?
I do.
You good? Okay. Do you want to call the roll, please?
Commissioner Aaron's,
Yes.
Otten,
No.
Schmidt,
No.
Putnam,
I'm gonna go no.
Landine.
Yes. So we're still at an impasse. Somebody like to make a motion?
Let's
I
go.
just think you should leave it the same as it was last year. That's simple.
Well, that could be, Commissioner, but you got to remember, we're equalization, and for every dollar that we reduce for someone else picks it up. I mean, your neighbors are all going to have to assume whatever discount that we gave. So Commissioner Landine, I want to go back to your original motion. 108,000 for the land.
Yep, that'd be leaving the land this,
And the house went down to 566, 133.
correct.
So we had a total of, we had 674,000 was the assessed value that you proposed.
Jim, you gotta do the full math. It's 674, 684.
Yeah.
It's over $100,000 increase in the house in 1 year.
No, we got the land in there too.
Yeah, well, your assessment.
Sir, you don't have the floor right now.
Just a
This is a
minute.
discussion
minute.
amongst the board for
How much
purposes of
was
making a
your
motion.
original assessment, Carla?
The assessed value went out at $732,088.
$732,000 and change. And what we're proposing here is 674,133, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
674, 684.
$983.
994, yep.
So we got a $59,000 deduct. Correct?
Essentially, yes, that's
Yep.
what those numbers were. And so that failed, so now we need,
Okay.
now we need another motion.
Madam Chair, upon clarification of that, I will reintroduce your motion of land at 108.
It wasn't my motion, it was just a suggestion.
Commissioner Landine's, or Commissioner Aaron's motion at 108, $108,000 for land, $566,133 for the structure, bringing it to $674,133. That's my,
674, 984.
yeah, what, thank you.
I will second that.
All right.
All right, I've got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, Alicia, will you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Aaron's,
Yes.
Otten,
No.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Putnam,
No.
Landine.
Yes, motion carries. All right. Next is item 12 on our agenda, Benjamin and Wendy Keppen.
Can I have my documents back, please?
They need to be made part of the record.
Then copy them.
Sir, do you want to have a seat?
No, 108.
They won't be made part of the record.
So what's the next step to appeal your decision?
You can speak with our assessor.
Or circuit court.
Thank you.
Circuit Court. I have a friend that's got a house that's equivalent to that. He still hasn't sold it, and it's below his value.
Oh, we gave him $60,000.
Carla, go ahead.
Yes, our next appeal is parcel number 099.50.03.C100. It's located at 47331 273rd Street, owned by Benjamin and Katie Keppen. It is a single-family home that sits on 1.8 acres. It was built in 1993. It has basement area of 1,962 square feet. The assessment went out at a land value, $117,000. The structure value at $397,089. We are providing some comparables comparables for the property. We do have three. The local board did lower the value to $447,089. They decreased the land from $117,000 down to $50,000. When we look at it as a whole, we see that the structure is being valued at $227 a square foot. The cost range is between $259 and $281 a square foot. The market is indicating a market range between $287 and $346 per square foot. The appellant is challenging for this appeal the agricultural classification. The staff and I have determined that this property does not qualify for the agricultural classification because the principal use is not devoted to raising and harvesting of crops, the rearing, feeding of management livestock, poultry, fish, or nursery stock. It's right now a single-family home on 1.08 acres. It's a house in a garage. So the assessor recommendation is no change. Keep it assessed as owner occupied. I did put in for your consideration the law, which states 10-6-112 on the law regarding the agricultural classification. I also submitted a court case by the hearing examiners heard by Ernster versus Lincoln County, represented by Joseph Meter, or Deputy State's Attorney. That part of that hearing was based on the qualifications of the agricultural law. And when I reread the court case, number one, your property has to be devoted to something agricultural. The second part is the income from the land has to be 2,500 of three of the last 5 assessment years. The applicant did submit a application for ag application, but the income was derived from the property adjoining this particular 1.8 acres and not the 1.8 acres itself. And in this this hearing, 22-57, the ruling from the judge or the hearing examiner was the income has to come from the land, and the land is the parcel and not any adjoining parcel. So I did put that packet for your consideration. I will stand by for any questions.
Anybody have questions for Carla? If not, is the applicant here?
Yes.
Good morning. You want to go ahead, just state your name and address and go ahead with your testimony?
Benjamin Keppen, 47331 273rd Street in Harrisburg, South Dakota. I do have a question for Carla. What exactly is my land assessed at right now?
So this is for you to give your presentation to us on why you think that the assessor valued it incorrectly.
Okay, got it. I just,
117,000.
I looked at the Beacon Schneider and I saw it was a different number than this here. That's why I was, just wanted to clarify where we're at with that number.
Fair enough.
So, first of all, I would like to, go on record and say on the April 1st county meeting minutes, I would appreciate it if we use cases that are old cases, not upcoming cases, because at that time, I did not have an opportunity to present a case where she already brought up my house to, it sends a message to you guys, I guess is what I'm saying. And I'm not like mad, I'm not yelling, I think we can use old cases or use sample cases instead of current cases. So I'm just asking that we do that from here on out in the future. Are we able to get the overhead so I can project that stuff for you? If not, I got some pictures I'd like to show you.
There you go.
Okay, perfect. So as we go ahead and look at this, ultimately I want to say, what is the intent of the ordinances that we have for this county? Okay, I think when we talk about this egg ordinance, the intent of it is to keep city people from moving out the egg and taking advantage of it. Okay, that's not the situation that we are here. Okay, if you take a look at this, if you look right here, that is our residence. Okay, we moved to the family farm to help operate that farm, manage the farm, and dedicate time towards that farm. Okay, for 29 years, that acreage, that house, has been an egg when Don owned it. I've owned it for 3 years now, and it's been an egg. Okay, she talked about this 3 out of 5 years. Okay, I haven't supplied things 3 out of 5 years. Why do I have to follow everything to T when that previous 3 years they didn't do it? If a house is sold and they thought this was an egg land, that should have been questioned at the time of the selling. Okay, now, anyways, as we continue on with this, what you have here is you have a bunch of pictures that I'm going to show you about what's going to happen, how this farm is. First of all, it's pretty evident, I think, as you look at this, is I know on the title it says my name instead of Don's. Okay? As we take a look at this, okay, and we flip through here, the first thing I want to show you is we do have a business. We have a sweet corn business. Okay? That sweet corn business, you can see here we got a Facebook page. Okay? I don't see, there's a lot of farmers in this community that they don't sell their crop off their home. Okay, I got a lot of them that I've listed that they have 1 acre that their house is on. They don't grow their crop on that 1 acre, but yet that 1 acre that their house is on is still classified as egg. So we have our business here. You can see it. We're operating right out of the house there. That's a farm business. We're selling sweet corn. Continue to look at this. Yes, we grow it on the family farm. Okay, we moved to the family farm to operate the family farm. Okay, the day Don passes away, that will be inherited by my wife and her sister. As we continue and we look at this, and we just look at all this stuff, you can see that we're operating this farm. Okay, we're doing it. Okay, now, if I go back to this original picture, and this is something we got to consider, and the one thing is the formula that the county has, it's not a one-size-fits-all. Okay, when we take a look at this picture, this driveway right here is the only driveway that a semi can enter into that farm. When I purchased that farm from my father-in-law, Don, back in 2022, okay, we had an agreement. It's not written in paper. We had an agreement that we would never get rid of this place while he was here on the farm, because we're going to be there and we're going to operate it with him. Okay, we had an agreement, this driveway right here, he gets to use. There is no easement. Why would I put an easement on my own father-in-law? That makes no sense to me. He has the right to use that the whole time. He has that agreement from me. If you actually look, and it's hard to tell in this picture, you can see the path that goes right there. I wish I had it in color because you could see all those semis. As a matter of fact, we have at least 800 semis, loads of manure, loads of hay that go through that driveway right there. That there alone, between having the sweet corn and operating that driveway, is enough to show that that is a farm. That's functioning as egg land, having all of that equipment go through there. That's not including any of the times that we have the farm equipment, if we're going to cultivate, if we're going to plant, that use that. And I should ask, just to put it on record, because I brought it up, just to make sure you guys know, Don is here, and if you'd like him to testify or whatever, that we did have that agreement on that land, we can do that, okay? We manage our farm through that land. Just last night, the Keppins were going through and we were doing all of the billing for Don. Okay, we're the ones that entered in, we're the ones that manage it. You say there's a technicality of whose name's on it, whose name's there. I think the ultimate picture, we gotta look and say, is that a farm or not? When I look at that, that doesn't look like an acreage. That's not the picture that she presented to you guys. We didn't get the whole big picture here. Okay? So, when we look at this, we have cattle on that farm, we operate it with them, we manage it with them, we do everything with them. Okay? He gets his profit from certain things, we get our profit from certain things. One of them is the sweet corn. I mean, do I have to write up a lease agreement with them? Do I got to get a renter's agreement with them? What's the question here? Because I don't think that's appropriate with a family member. Okay, we have all types of bills. If you want to see that we have bills, I have a farmer's policy on the insurance of the house. I have plenty of stuff there. So I think it's just we got to consider the big picture and not use a one-size-fits-all that they have. In fact, I believe Carla was the one to say it when she's talking about $1 million homes at that exact meeting on April 1, that it's not a perfect system. And it's not. And obviously, that's why we're here. If you want any documents, I'd be glad to show you those documents. I guess it's up to you guys here.
Were they submitted with your appeal?
She's got my 1040s, these pictures. In fact, let me, I showed you the pictures of the sweet corn, and let me actually do this just so you guys understand what happens with this. This is an example of our driveway right here, where you got the equipment going out. You can see the house in the background. You can see semis coming and going. This was the other morning. Those semis might have sat there for possibly up to 2 hours as we were loading out cattle. It's definitely not an acreage. We've had semi-drivers come and stay the night. They'll pull up next to the house if they need to, depending upon if they're dropping off cattle and loading cattle. So you can take a look at that, see what you think. There's operating the cattle right there. And just to show you with the family farm, that's us going through, operating it all, okay, and coinciding with him. So
All right, sir, I just need you to wrap up your testimony, please.
I think that's probably all that I have for you guys at this moment.
Thank you. Do any of the commissioners have questions for our appellant?
What was his request?
His request, it's not right on the sheet that I've got, was 402,518 for the total, so he had it divided up at $397.89 for the structures and $5,429 for the land. Was the request.
Land, and then structure was what? Pardon me, Madam Chair.
397,089. Do I have that correct? Okay.
Yes, yes.
If there's no questions, is there a motion? Oh, go ahead.
So on the sheet that we have, I have that you value that as 100 or 117,000.
No, it's a typo.
Oh, that's all wrong.
Yep, it's a typo.
Because I'm going, well, it's all backwards.
If you
That's
look at-
our value.
If you look at the
Yes.
PT, Betty,
Oh.
if you look at the PT 17 on the
Okay.
system, then you can see what his requested values were versus the assessor's office. And then, did you have another question on that? Okay. Any other
It just- It was
questions?
backwards to me.
All right,
Is this all set up as an LLC or just private ownership or?
It is not set up as an LLC, no, it's not.
The whole, your dad or your father-in-law's place, that just a family farm deal or? Is it-
Yep, it's a family farm, so you can see like the cattle lots and stuff.
Oh, I see that, but I'm
Yep.
just saying they're not separately set up, like, you both just own whatever's there.
Yeah, I own the 1.8 that I bought from him to move out there to operate it, and then he owns the rest of the farm.
all right. Any other questions for the applicant? All right, I'm gonna close the testimony. Is there a motion?
Madam Chair, one question I have. So this is a 1 acre parcel. So if we were to have a sale of this property, all of it, this 1 acre would be segregated out from the cattle yard or on all the feeding lots and all the rest of that stuff.
It currently is.
It is a separate parcel.
It's its own separate parcel.
Yeah, so, and it's, I look at 117 and I look at your application of 5, but on that 1 acre, we've got all the good stuff. We got the drying areas, we got silos, we've got
No.
Okay.
none of
No,
that.
that's the entire farm. That's not the 1 point.
That doesn't show you where the property lines are
So,
for the
yeah,
legal
I'd like to-
description.
All right, stop. I've closed testimony.
So can someone?
So
show
let's
me
get
the-
our motion on the table and then we can have further discussion about the motion itself.
All right.
So is there a motion? They're agreeing on the land value, or excuse me, the structural value.
Yeah,
The
structural
question is whether
value.
the land value needs to be adjusted.
Yeah, from $117,000 down.
What has it previously been? I don't know. Go ahead.
The three previous years, it was valued at egg land that we owned it, and then the previous 29 that the house was there, that my father-in-law owned it, was egg value. The function of the house
Well,
has
that
not
would be
changed.
total then, but now, what was the value of the 1 acre now? That, I guess I don't have that in front of me. Is that the dispute there right now, is just the 1 acre?
If you want to open up your share drive and go to the assessor's recommendation, page 11 of 14, it's got the valuation reports from prior years.
Okay.
If I'm looking at that, well, I might be on the wrong page, but where are we at?
I guess
Carla?
somebody could have just told me.
Do you have an answer?
So the current assessed value. The current assessed value was 117,500.
Just
Or
for the
excuse
1
me,
acre.
100 for 1.8 acres.
1.8 acres, okay.
And this parcel did go on review for the 25 assessment year because there was no agricultural application previously on this property when the purchase took place from back in, I believe, 2019. 2022, thank you.
Again, I'll ask for a motion.
Madam Chair, I know we've been through a lot of this, but I'm struggling with the idea that this particular 1.8 acres at $117,000, I'm figuring, okay, you know, if that was located somewhere else, and I know that our assessors work so hard, so I have some real issues with this. But I'm thinking, on the other hand, if we put 1.8 acres in another locale without this, it wouldn't probably go for $117,000 because it'd probably be about 30 grand.
And do you have a motion?
So I'm gonna toss something out at you that I'm gonna put the land at about $30,000 and leave the house at 307,089.
Do you mean 397,089?
Yeah. Well, whatever the home was assessed at originally. And I thought that was 307,000.
Alicia, do you understand the motion?
I do.
All right, is there a second?
I'll second Otten.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion amongst the board? If not, Alicia, will you call the roll?
Commissioner Otten,
Yes.
Schmidt,
Yes?
Putnam,
No.
Landine.
Yes, motion carries. All right, next item, we have Ernest and Joanne Stratmeyer.
Our next appeal is parcel number 097.50.03.A100. It's owned by Ernest and Joanne Stratmeyer, located at 28503 474th Avenue. It is a single-family home. It sits on 7 acres. Home was built in 1892 with approximately 1,204 square feet. It's a 1.5-story home. The current assessment went out at $119,500 for the land, $39,396 for the structure. The parcel was appealed at local board. Local board lowered the land value to $20,000 and removed the house value altogether. It is currently an owner-occupied home. The Director of Equalization, when appeals are heard at local board, has the opportunity to appeal back those decisions in which I am bringing forth today. So I have appealed back the local board's decision for several reasons. It's an owner-occupied home. We should have some value on it. I do show some comparable properties of homes or parcels that are similar to the subject property based on the condition. So that's one part of this presentation. The second part of the presentation is going to look at properties that have sold that have wetness to them, whether it be in the floodplain, ponding, but have some type of wet issue. So we supplied that information for board's consideration. Currently, the subject property is being assessed at $132 a square foot. I have changed my consideration on that. I am going to recommend to the board to lower the home from $39,396 to $20,275 and keep the land value at $119,500. We did notice and indicate with the recommendation some condition and place some obsolescence for the condition of the home. It's in a very poor condition, but still lived in. We did offer a walkthrough of the property that was declined in March of 2025 this year. But with that being said, I'm still offering a valuation decrease to the structures. So the total assessed value for the assessor recommendation is $139,775.
Thank you. Anybody have questions for staff? If not, is the appellant here?
Ernest Stroutmeyer, 28503 474 Avenue, Worthing. Yes, I'm just going to try to suggest where I came up with valuation because we again were flooded last year and can we turn this? Our, because of the flooding, our floor system separates and we had to put tape over it. Here's probably the better picture of floorboards curl up when we got flooded again last year. And reason for my valuation going down is because I cannot sell this house because of the flooding problem that happens. And this is the floor, under the floor system, there's mold in there. And this is all because of what's been done out on the roads there. The road going east-west is 134, and I refer to that as the dam, and then the road going north and south is 121, and that's where they came and the county came and cut an additional depth to the ditch so that the fields drain there, but they don't have any way for that to get away. And then the last thing that I just did was went to the meeting where they're working on that road now. On 134, which they're out there doing it right now, and asked them about the drainage issues. And what I was told was that there's no money for drainage. So it doesn't make any sense to me that they're going to repair or tear up the road and redo it, and they're not going to take care of the water problem that's there. So I don't see any reason that I should have to pay any taxes on the property because all the problems that I have are caused by the county improvements to the roads, but they didn't do anything or take care of the water that comes to that corner to get rid of it. And so that's why I cannot sell the house. It doesn't make any sense for me to continue to do anything to repair it because I don't know when to expect it to flood again. We continue to get floods whenever we have, the years that we do have snow. And it isn't that the highway department hasn't tried to do things. They've thrown like at least 5 different times they've thrown Band-Aids at this project. First time they put a culvert in the road right near our driveway. Another time they went further south and put in another culvert to cross the road. But they failed to go back to the original, which is the normal direction of the drainage. And
I found out from Drew where to find the information about drainage, and he told me where to look it up. And you're not supposed to turn or change the direction of the drainage. And that's the problem that's happened here. This is the location of our property, and it takes a little more time than you'd have here to do it, but the normal contours here cross the road, and the normal drainage for this area is through here, going across the road and then going to the north. And the things that they've been done out there, that hasn't been continued. They didn't, this deeper culvert that's down here is still buried down there, but they added one here and one here. But they don't take care of the problem, because when they would need to be used, there's either snow or some other reason why it doesn't work. Anyway, those are the reasons why the property tax doesn't seem to make any sense to me. And I don't know if there's anything more that you want. The other thing, yes, about the land value there was, I see no reason that I'm paying an assessed value of $17,000 an acre. I got 7 acres, and across the property line all the way around me, the other properties are all under $3,000 an acre. And all of the properties around me also have the where they can be sold for, I can't think of the word. It's a thing where they can have a residential properties on them. So they should have the same kind of value on property next to me as what mine does.
Are you done, Ernest?
I think.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for
Yeah,
our applicant?
I've got, Madam Chair, I've got a question.
Go ahead.
How long have you lived there?
Since 79, I think it was.
Okay. And when did you start having water problems with your home?
Oh, it was in early years, and I would call the county each time that would happen, and at first they started to come out and dug out the field ditches to go to the west. They would dig them open, and then after it was done, they would come back and fill them back in, and after the third time, then they actually put culverts in there. So
But what years kind of were they? When did it start flooding, severely?
Well, the water comes up around the house anytime we have like when we have the years with the snow, when there's snow melts off, it comes up every time because the ditches are always full of snow with grass in them, and the culverts don't drain right away, so that all comes there.
My contention was, when you first got there, you never had a water problem, and then later years, you got a water problem. About when was that? So a guy kind of has a timeline.
Okay, well, it started early because after when we went there, the 134 was a county road, and then
Was it gravelled at that time?
Yes, it was. It had been changed from the township to a county where it was a wide gravel road. Then a couple of years after we were there, then the one north-south, which is 121, that one there was taken over by the county, and that's when the first time that they cut the ditches to make the ditches wider to build the road. And then after that, once the grasses grew up in the ditches, then the ditches would be full of snow, and whenever the snow would melt, it always gets there, but it has nowhere to go. And
Well,
that
but what I'm
continues.
getting at is timelines. I mean, before they ever messed with anything, you never had a water problem, and then later years when they started messing with the roads, that's when you had the water problem?
Yeah, it was shortly after we got there though, because, the county road east-west had been done just shortly before that, and then within 2 or 3 years after we did get there, then they went to the south and made that a county road. And the problem was when they went to the south, that, and cut the ditches, then they were supposed to change a culvert in the road, in the 134, which would allow the water to go north, and, they didn't because that road was a nice grade, and so at the time they decided they didn't want to change that culvert. And therein begins the problem. So every year, when we have snow, or we get 2.5 inches of rain or more, it floods around the house. It doesn't come into the house except for these other years when it gets more severe. But it always floods like the map showed there, the water around it and so on. That's always there. And because we have a crawl space, there's no basement, then the water gets into that and I have to pump it.
But you're saying that it wasn't very long after you purchased the property that it started to have problems?
That's correct.
So you've been living with this for like 40 years now?
Yeah. Well, I've been in here at different times, and the first time that it flooded, then I came in and, I don't know whether it was a water board or whatever it was. And, at that time, then Mike Nadolski was here, and he suggested to, turn in a bill or something as to what the costs were at that time, so I did that. Gave it to the county here, and they gave it to the insurance company, and the insurance company denied it, so nothing was ever done. And then, and other than that, all it is each time I would come in, they would come out and either put in another culvert, trying to change get the direction of the water to go to the east like it's supposed to do. But in my opinion, and I've lived with this water never belongs coming to the north to our place. It belongs going across the road, through the field, and then it goes to the north down to South Creek.
That picture you had with the water right next to your property against the road, that's a current picture, or was that a picture from a long time ago?
It was something that I got from here, and that's still considered the floodplain or whatever you call it. That's the way it comes to each time that we get water.
It is in the floodplain, it looks like to me.
Yeah.
Have all your questions been answered, Commissioner?
Well, for the most part, I guess I just never got good timelines is all, like, had he lived there and then this was then popped up like 20 years later, 10 years later?
Well, we lived with it because it would always, in about 80 is when that road got put in to the south, 80 or 82 or whatever it was. And ever since then, the water was able to come to our house, but it didn't have a way to get away. And that's when they tried putting these other culverts in that didn't work. And,
So what you're saying is value, your house is basically zero now because it's really hardly not livable?
I couldn't sell it. It's got mold. I can't repair it. The floor joists are rotting on them.
Well, with the mold in there like that, I don't know if I'd want to live in it, period.
Yeah.
All right, if there's no other questions, then, I'm gonna close testimony. Is there a motion?
Madam Chair, we got Ernie has been here before, and he's got land down there, and I always ask myself the question, you know, if this is a flood problem and everything, why he didn't move, but he's got a home, he does live in it. I mean, so it has, as our assessor has said, it has to have some value. I mean, if it was abandoned and just by itself, just sitting there, and I could say, yeah, that dwelling has no value because it's uninhabitable. But apparently it is inhabitable because Ernie and his wife are living there, so there is a structure. So we have to assess this thing at some level. And so we have, I think, at 119,000, did we? 119 for the structure and 20,000 for the land?
Other way around.
Other way around.
Yeah.
Oh,
So you're valuing the structure at 20,000,
20,000.
which would be about an older trailer house, yeah.
That'd be about right.
Yeah.
And the land, yeah, and that's the 7 acres we're talking about? Okay. And land prices today? Yeah.
Commissioner, do you have a motion?
Jesus.
Quite a conundrum.
Yeah, 7 acres into one. That's,
How much of that 7 acres is underwater? A lot of time.
is that all farmland?
The back could be, so it's mostly the, right around the house, so.
So you're talking about like 2-3 acres around the house, it floods, and then the rest is
Yeah.
probably usable property.
Yeah.
So then you'd figure the 5 acres and divide by that, or 4.
That's like 17,000 an acre for,
Yeah.
for appraisal.
I guess it depends on where this parcel's sitting.
Are you wanting to make a motion, Commissioner Putnam?
Well, I'm just thinking that there isn't a lot of value there, depending on where the land's sitting, but the house, there's no value.
Do you want to make a motion? That's the question.
Okay, value the house at nothing and whatever the land is.
What do you want to set the land at?
Whatever they had before. I guess I'm not sure what it ended up being
Carla, do you,
19,500
for the whole parcel, 7
for
acres.
the land.
Yeah,
is that what it was last year?
Last year in '24, the land was assessed at 69,000 and the structure at 37,344 for a total assessed value of 106,344. That was the '24 value.
well, I guess I'd value the house at nothing, and the land probably might be right in the ballpark there.
Right now, we're considering a motion. If you're going to make a motion, you need to state the value of the land that you want and the value that you want placed on the structure. So it sounds like you have 0 on the structure.
Yep.
What value do you want to place on the land as part of your motion?
Is that the 119,000?
No. The land, they had valued at 69,000.
So your motion is to put the house at 0 and the land at 69,000?
Is that like last year or the previous years it was less money, or what is it?
Can I answer that?
Yep,
Go ahead.
go ahead.
Last year, the local board lowered that land value. We would have had a very similar amount at 119,500, but, you know, the board decided to lower that for Ernie's appeal.
Because of the water.
I
I would venture to say, and I don't know, but anyhow, 69,000 on the land, the house is worth nothing. Actually, it's a detriment because you got to tear it down.
Is that your motion?
Yep, I motion that.
Is there a second?
Can you tell me the values again? I know the house.
I've got the house at 0, and if I'm understanding the motion correctly, it's placing the land at 69,000. Is there a second? Motion fails for lack of a second. Is there another motion?
Madam Chair, I put the land at 115,000 and the house leave it at 20,000 because it is habitable. If it wasn't, if it was vacant, I would say 0, but it is habitable, so I put it at $20,000.
So Commissioner Schmidt's making a motion to set the land value at $115,000 and the structure value at $20,000.
Correct.
Is there a second?
Otten, second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? If not, we call the roll, please.
Commissioner Otten,
Yes.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Putnam,
No.
Landine.
Yes, motion carries. All right, moving on then to item 14 on our agenda, Peterson Properties. And is the appellant here? Okay, thank you. Carla, go ahead.
Our next appeal is parcel number 260.50.32.007. It is owned by Peterson Properties LLC located at East North Maple Street in Beersford. It is a bare lot with some foundation that was started in, I believe, 2022. Don't quote me on that, but there is some foundation. The current assessment went out at $53,606. This was appealed to the local board. Local board lowered the value to $1. And I appealed back that local board decision. The land currently is 35,475 square feet. We show some comparables in Beersford of properties that have sold fairly recently. There was a sale of a bare lot that was deemed not buildable. It was 4,800 square feet. And that property sold for $12,000. The other 3 comparables that we're showing you some assessment history and how we value the properties in Beersford. Currently, the property is assessed at $1.51 a square foot. Using our comparables, it ranges between $1.79 to $3 a square foot. The market from the one sale that we did have that was in Lincoln County sold for $1.95 a square foot. The subject property is listed in pink and the comparables that we show are in blue, so they're all relatively close to the subject property. The property for many years has been under litigation. We are assessing it as fee simple, so it's the most highest form of property rights that we have, so that's how we assess it, as fee simple ownership. So under fee simple ownership, the property owner has a right to sell it, they have the right to lease it, they have the right to use it, they have a right to give it away, enter it, or refuse to do nothing. So that's how we're assessing it, as fee simple ownership. With that, I will stand by for any questions.
Any commissioners have questions for staff?
How did they come about a buck for the whole thing? Is that my?
I don't know.
We'll wait for him.
I don't know.
That's fine.
All right, any other questions for staff? All right, if not, Lee, you want to come on up?
Chris Peterson, owner and operator of Peterson Properties LLC, 29051 465th Avenue, Centerville, South Dakota. So to answer the question, how they came up with $1, this has been kind of a can that's been kicked down the road, and I've gotten some real good information from members of the commission, and I've tried to reach out to different attorney firms, but they all seem to represent this pool of attorneys. So nobody wants to partner up and try to, say, go against the city to back their lawsuit. A tiny house lady and one neighbor decided to sue the city for a zoning infraction. So I got a stop work notice 2021, after them foundations were in, of zoning infractions, right? So my hands have been tied. I have reached out numerous times to different people, but I can't think of the name of the insurance pool that a lot of these municipalities belong to, and everybody's all closed off that don't want to really take on a municipality of, say, getting an attorney, a lawsuit going against a city.
So you're saying you put foundations in to build a house and then they stopped you?
Yep, I had 2 twin homes that we were going to put there and a third one on the other, well, we didn't even get to that point of putting the third foundation in. Beersford needs more housing, rooftops make tax dollars, right? I want to be proactive in that community. I've got 2 8-plexes right next to it, trying to bring more people in. And because somebody referenced a 1970-something court case that happened in Fort Pierre over some zoning infractions, they filed a suit against the city. The city delivered me as we were starting to backfill one of them foundations. I haven't even backfilled them. The city took it upon their goodwill, and they put no trespassing signs up because I have a stop work notice on it. I can't do anything. They don't even want to, my insurance company does not want to insure anything on it. So I'm between a rock and a hard place still.
You can't even maintain it?
I can't. I've been asked, hey, Chris, can you go over there and spray it? And I said, you know what, if I can't do anything with it and I have a stop work notice, how can I even set foot on my own property when you guys put no trespassing signs up? So it's the rock and the hard place, and which one came first. And this has been ongoing. We have been in recent talks within the last 3 weeks with the Beersford Economic Development Corporation about possibly doing something with that. So it's kind of an exciting turn, but until we get to that point, that's why I'm here.
So what you're saying is you just want to value it at $1 until such time you can go ahead and do it?
Yep.
Which is
So I've been in here the
understandable.
last couple of years talking about this same thing, and Commissioner Schmidt, I think you put it correctly a few different times. Chris, the county only gets 20% roughly of the tax value, something that happens in the city, okay? So on the local board, they had members that represented, say, the 80%, right? Say the city gets 60%, county gets the school gets about 60% of your taxes.
Yeah.
So it's like if that's the way that the cookie wants to crumble on this thing, you guys are doing a great job. I'm not in here yelling at anybody. I'm just trying to get to the bottom of this.
What did we do last year, Chris? Did we drop it?
25,000 on both parcels, because I have the one right next door to that. I'm not a tech guy. Probably better never touch any of this stuff, but the one right next door to it is the same situation.
Right.
And they valued both of them down to 25,000. My thought is.
Talking about 25 for each parcel.
Correct.
Okay, now what, you say you have a 6-plex or something next to it?
Yep.
What's the value of that?
Oh, I couldn't even tell you.
Oh, just roughly, just shoot.
So I've got, maybe you could
Is
answer
it
that.
to the east or the west?
To the south.
South.
I'm just curious to how much the
I
county's
see
losing
it.
because you can't build.
So a panel of realtors, right, have always reached out, hey, Chris, we saw this as an old listing. Are these built? Are these available? The times that we could have built these and sold these. I built the other 8-plex. You guys probably have it listed under construction, right?
I show a foundation on Parcel Browser.
And we just got that thing occupied. Beersford needs housing.
But my contention being though is, see, in other words, if you've been doing this for 2 or 3 years, the counties and the town is out, or Beersford is out that tax dollars for that being completed project.
And that's why I kind of put not the screws to it, but put the conversation in the city council's ear of, hey, guys, we got to be proactive because my kids go to school there. We don't live in the Beersford School District. We live in the Centerville District, but we believe in this Beersford District. We take our kids there. We believe in that town, and my contribution to them is putting more housing in. And then we get a situation like this, and it's really unfortunate for the whole community.
And the city, the planning and zone, or the planning commission or whatever it is for a city, they're no help to you?
It's kind of past that, because they got the stop work notice, and then the tiny house lady and the other guy, they decided to put a lawsuit against the city. So planning and zoning, their hands are tied. Now it's up to the insurance attorney for the city. And that's when I reached out to multiple different legal entities. They all kind of represent the same pool of municipalities. And I'm not an attorney by no means. I don't understand a lot of this stuff, but a lot of them said, hey, Chris, it's a conflict of interest.
Anything else you want us to know, Chris?
Greg, if you got this cleared up, you would immediately build your buildings, right?
Yep.
That's not an issue, everything's there.
Everything's
Ready to
there.
go.
We actually had all the walls panelized for one of these years ago, and I ended up buying some lots. We loaded all them up in Crooks and took them up there and built. And as we poured the foundation, we sold both sides before it was even built.
Yep.
So it's,
Huge demand.
And this is only because of the lady in the little house?
you got it.
Okay.
Anybody have any other questions for the appellant?
I don't know, I think that buck sounds good to me.
If not, can I get a motion, please?
Madam Chair, I'm making too many motions here, but, we've been here before.
Yep.
And I have no doubt that our assessor is correct in valuing the land at that. But on the other hand, he would be paying for property that he can't use. I mean, it's just sitting there. So, if and when they decide to get this thing taken care of, we would once again, and then your property, that land value may even go up, given the amount of time that you have, that's been sitting there. So, if we leave it at 25,000 and that baby goes up to 50-some thousand, you'll get a little tax jolt.
Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion, we leave it at the $25,000 level.
Is there a
Both
second?
properties,
We're
Is that
on,
25,000 per each property?
yes.
we're addressing one motion at a
Oh, one
time.
Okay, 25,000 for the property in question.
Is there a second? Motion fails for lack of a second. Is there another motion?
Buck?
Got a motion to set the land value at $1. Is there a second?
Oh, that failed too, I guess.
Motion fails for lack of a second. Is there another motion?
Where can we go in the middle somewhere where it would work?
Is there another motion?
I have a proposition.
Okay,
Like conversations we've had in the past, 20% of, that tax goes to the county. If these fine individuals over here say the property value of that was, what was the property value here? 53,606, and approximately 20% of that value goes to the county. Would 20% of that number be a sufficient option? I don't even know what that calculates out to, anybody?
well, the bottom line is the land's worth nothing
Essentially it is.
until such time you can rectify the situation, that's for sure.
That would put it, Chris, that would put it at 10,721.
Okay.
Is that acceptable to you if we do that?
That would be acceptable.
Can I
mean,
get
I'm
a-
trying to kind of play,
I second that then, we'll get her going.
Can
I'll
I-
make the motion.
I've got a motion from Otten to set the land value at $10,721. Is there a second?
Second the motion.
I've got a second. Alicia, will you call the roll?
Commissioner Otten?
Joel's back.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm not going to participate in the vote because
Gotcha.
I didn't hear all the facts.
Okay. Commissioner Otten?
This is that property that's involved with that stop work order down by Beersford. Do you remember how there's a lady in the little house and they put a stop work order on his properties, his foundations are,
Honestly, this is like, I've probably heard about this before,
oh, I think you were here.
but it's like I'm hearing this for the first time.
Okay, very good, fair enough.
Well, it sounds like we got a deal.
We got
Yes.
to call the vote then?
Okay. Commissioner Otten?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
Putnam?
Yes.
Lending?
Yes, motion carries. The next one, Chris, that's the same proper, that's right next door, right?
Same, right next door,
Same.
same song, same dance, and I
Oh,
guess
I
if we
thought
use the
this-
same,
That's two separate properties, so now you're
Correct.
doing.
We're on number
As long as
15.
the other- Well, I vote for the 10.
you need to present, or pretty much got the rundown.
Just as so they have the right parcel number. If they're going to be consistent, that
012, yeah.
12,309 is 20% of the 61,547.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
You bet, absolutely. So the total assessment went out at 61,547. 20% of that is 12,309.
300 and,
309.
okay.
And Chris, would you accept that if we move motion for 12,309?
Let's do it.
I'll make that motion.
I've got a motion from Otten. Do I have a
for
second?
Putnam.
Got a motion from Otten, a second from Putnam. Alicia, will you call the roll?
Will Commissioner Aaron's be participating? Okay, thanks.
No, I won't be participating.
Thank
There we
you.
go, we got it from the horse's mouth. Let's move.
Commissioner Otten?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
Putnam?
Yes.
Lending?
Yes, motion carries.
Thank you, commissioners.
Thank
Well,
you.
Too bad and good luck to you, because that's
Get it
conundrum.
built.
Might
I've
need
been
some
by
milk,
your
guys.
property too.
All right, so everybody just, these next ones, there's written stipulations. We're gonna go through and read the parcel number and the name with each parcel number for each little section that we have, and then we're gonna do one motion to accept the stipulations or not. So Carla, do you wanna go ahead and read those, or do you want me to?
Whichever.
You can go ahead.
Okay. The first stipulation is 283.21.12.002D, owned by Taylor Van Wy. Land value at $26,006. Structure value at $284,807.
All right, the next one?
Parcel number 240.46.00.A10A, owned by High Point LTD Partnership. Land value, $399,054.
Did you misspeak there? I've got 330, I've got 339.
654.
You're out.
Can you repeat that so the record's clear?
399,654.
That's not what I have down here.
Structure value at $1,029,589. Parcel number 240.46.00.A10B. Land value at $328,783. Structure value at $1,165,839. Parcel number 240.84.01.003B, owned by Prescott Limited Partnership. Land value $608,467. Structure value at $1,491,934. Parcel 240.84.01.003C, owned by Auburn Limited Partnership. Land value at $442,603. Structure value at $744,439. Parcel number 270.70.00.200A, owned by Hunter's Gate LTD Partnership. Land value at $377,951. Structure value at $1,031,904. Parcel number 270.70.00.200B, owned by Hunter's Gate LTD Partnership. Land value at $378,754. Structure value at $1,104,117. Parcel number 270.70.16.001, owned by Drexel Place Limited Partner. Land value at $531,167. Structure value at $1,711,496. Parcel number 280.95.06.001, Rosecrest Limited Partnership.
Hold on.
Yep, stop.
Hold on. I've got line 24 as a different parcel than what you just read.
I do too.
28013030001. I think you just skipped over one. Southridge Limited.
24 on our sheet.
That would make it 24 on our agenda, so.
So 20, on your sheet, I'm sorry, I don't have your sheet. Parcel number 280.13.03.001, owned by Southridge Limited Partnership. Land value at $1,045,440. Structure value at $2,054,808.
And Carla, can I have you go back to agenda item 17? Because my sheet, unless I heard wrong, doesn't match with what you read.
So, yeah, there might be a couple of transposed numbers. Can you just check it with your stipulation to make sure that we're using the right number?
Her stipulations are probably going to be more correct than my spreadsheet, because I'm the only one who apparently looked at my spreadsheet.
This one right here.
I'm reading it right off the stipulation.
Off the High Point Limited. For parcel 2404600A10A.
So this should be 230.
That's what she signed over. So that value is $399,654. The structure value at $1,029,589.
Thank you.
So 399, not 339.
Correct.
Okay.
All right, so that included up through, the agenda item 24. Can I get a motion to approve those stipulations?
Wait, no, do it all at the end. Do it all at the very end.
It's getting a little too broken up and,
So where did we stop?
24.
24.
can I get a motion to approve those stipulations?
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second, Otten.
Thank you. Now we'll continue with
you wanna take
agenda item 25.
the vote, though?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yep, go ahead.
Commissioner Aaron's,
Yes.
Otten,
Yes.
Schmidt. Oh, no, sorry. Putnam,
Yes.
Landine.
Yes. Motion carries. Right, then starting with agenda item 25.
Parcel number 280.95.06.001, owned by Rosecrest Limited Partnership. Land value at $1,720,440. Structure value at $2,302,287. Parcel number 283.20.01.001A, owned by Vineyard Heights Limited Partnership. Land value at $652,128. Structure value at $2,685,753. Parcel number 270.82.03.002A, owned by BAH Properties. Land value $43,065. Structure value at $243,336. Parcel number 270.82.03.022B, owned by BAH Properties. Land value $32,340. Structure value $243,336. Parcel number 270.82.03.023A, owned by BAH Properties. Land value $32,340. $340. Structure value $243,336. Parcel number 270.82.03.023B, owned by BAH Properties. Land value $32,340. Structure value $243,336. Parcel number 270.82.03.024A, owned by BAH Properties. Land value $32,340. Structure value $245,845. Parcel number 270.82.03.024B, owned by BAH Properties. Land value $32,340. Structure value $245,845. Parcel number 270.82.03.025A, owned by BAH Properties. Land value $32,340. Structure value $245,845. Parcel number 270.82.03.025B, owned by BAH Properties. Land value $32,340. Structure value $245,845. Parcel number 270.82.03.026A, owned by BAH Properties. Land value $32,340. Structure value $245,845. Parcel number 270.82.03.026B, land value $31,935, structure value $245,845. Parcel number 270.82.03.027A, land value $30,720, structure value $233,055. Parcel number 270.82.03.027B, owned by BAH Properties. Land value $49,793, structure value $233,055. Parcel number 270.82.05.005A, owned by RS Capital LLC. Land value $50,370, structure value $240,591. Parcel number 270.82.05.005B, owned by RS Capital LLC. Land value $63,174, structure value $249,407. Parcel number 270.82.06.001A, owned by BAH Properties, land value $46,890, structure value $243,336. Parcel number 270.82.06.001B, BAH Properties, land value $35,295, structure value $243,336. Parcel number 270.82.06.002A, owned by BAH Properties, land value $34,058, structure value $243,336. Parcel number 270.82.06.002B, land value $33,705, structure value $243,336. Parcel number 270.82.06.003A, land value $35,820, structure value $243,336. Parcel number 270.82.06.003B, owned by BAH Properties, land value $32,340, structure value $243,336. Parcel number 270.82.06.004A, owned by BAH Properties, land value $32,595, structure value $243,336. Parcel number 270.82.06.004B, owned by BAH Properties, land value $32,340, structure value $243,336. Parcel number 270.82.06.005A, owned by BAH Properties, land value $32,340, structure value at $243,336. Parcel number 270.82.06.005B, owned by BAH Properties, land value $32,340, structure value $243,336. Parcel number 270.82.06.006A, owned by BAH Properties, land value $33,008, structure value $243,336. Parcel number 270.82.06.006B, owned by BAH Properties, land value $32,340, structure value $243,336. Parcel number 270.82.06.008A, owned by BAH Properties, land value $43,733, structure value $243,783. Parcel number 270.82.06.008B, owned by BAH Properties, land value $30,675, structure value $243,783. Parcel number 270.82.06.009A, owned by BAH Properties, land value $37,080, structure value $243,783. Parcel number 270.82.06.009B, owned by BAH Properties, land value $40,538, structure value $243,783.
All right, any questions for staff? If not, can I get a motion to approve those stipulated values?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. I've got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, Alicia, will you call the roll?
Commissioner Aaron's?
Yes.
Otten?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
Putnam?
I guess so.
Landine?
Commissioner Putnam, is your I guess so a yes or no?
Well, probably yes.
We'll take it as a yes.
Throw that away.
My vote's a yes. Motion carries.
Board of Equalization will be, the next meeting will be April 15th. We'll start at 9 o'clock in the morning. And then we do have an afternoon session until about 3:30, 4 o'clock somewhere. And then we have, that will be all the appeals.
All right, can I get a motion to recess as the Board of Equalization?
So move. Second.
Got a motion from Schmidt, second from Aaron's. Alicia, will you call the roll?
Commissioner Aaron's?
Yes.
Otten?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
Putnam?
Yep.
Landine?
Yes. We're in recess. Thank you, everybody.